Good morning to everyone. As you know, the written part of the exam consists of the task on grammar that will estimate the level of your grammar skills. In this type of exam task, you need to read the text with gaps and complete it with words formed from the words in capital letters. You will find examples of the structures which are mostly commonly tested during our analysis of the sample of the exam grammar task. On the slide you can see exam task on grammar. Let us analyze the first sentence. Sometimes it's hard to stay motivated even when you really care about the work. It must. The verb do is given to us, so we need to transform it. It is correct to use modal verb must plus be plus past participle, the third form of the verb. The correct answer is must be done. Thus, we use modal verb plus be plus past participle, the third form of the verb. That is the passive structure which is used to give emphasis to the thing affected by the action. For example, hundreds of houses were built by the government last year. If we want to say who does the action, we use by. For instance, the best pizzas are made by the Italians. We usually use with when we talk about the thing used to do something. The soup should be stirred with a spoon. Note that verbs which have objects are called transitive verbs. A young man helped the old lady across the road. So in this sentence, the old lady is the object. Verbs which do not have objects are called intransitive verbs. For example, the verbs walk or appear. Diane walks to college. Mind that only transitive verbs can be made passive. Some dictionaries point out whether a verb is transitive or intransitive. I would like to remind you of the forms of active and passive voice. You may refer to these charts while doing exercises. Now let us practice, and you are to choose the correct word or phrase. Your essays must be handed in on Friday morning. So the correct answer is your essays must be handed in on Friday morning. This picture was or has probably taken during the winter. This picture was probably taken during the winter. Treasure Island was or has written by Robert Louis Stevenson. And the correct answer is Treasure Island was written by Robert Louis Stevenson. It was a long time ago, so we should use past simple passive here. Our teacher was or has told us to give arguments for and against. It will be right to say our teacher has told us to give arguments for and against, because we actually don't have the adverbial modifier here. The time is not stated, so that's why we should use present perfect passive here. The Prime Minister was or has criticized for his recent actions. So again, he was criticized by someone else. We should use passive form. It will be appropriate to say the Prime Minister was criticized for his recent actions. Now let us complete the sentences using the correct passive form of the verbs in brackets. The first feature-length comedy film created by Charlie Chaplin. So as you can see, it was a long time ago, and of course we should use past simple passive. The first feature-length comedy film was created by Charlie Chaplin. The award for the best video present later this evening. So think it over, please. I will announce the correct answer. The award for the best video is going to be presented or will be presented later this evening. Cheers play for around 2000 years now. I would like to draw your attention to the signaling word for. So when you see the word for, you should use present perfect or present perfect continuous. It is correct to say chess has been played for around 2000 years now. Radio waves discovered by Marconi. Actually, the invention happened a long time ago. That's why we should use past simple passive here. Radio waves were discovered by Marconi. The Earth, held by the gravity of the Sun and orbits around it. So it is universal truth, and we should use present simple here in the passive voice, of course. The Earth is held by the gravity of the Sun and orbits around it. Let us move on further. The ultimate key to success in school. The verb stays given focused on your coursework. So we should put verb into in form, as it is a part of a compound predicate. So it will be correct to use the ultimate key to success in school is staying focused on your coursework. I'd like to remind you of a group of verb, noun and adjective phrases which are usually followed by the gerund. So these verbs are admit, appreciate, avoid, can help, delay, deny, detest, discuss, dislike, enjoy, escape, face, fancy, feel like, finish, give up, involve, keep on, mention, mind, miss, postpone, practice, put off, resist, risk, suggest, and understand. When we put a verb after a preposition, we almost use an in form. For example, I'm interested in hearing more about that course. Nevertheless, some verb, noun and adjective phrases are usually followed by the full infinitive. These verbs are able, afford, agree, appear, arrange, ask, attempt, beg, choose, decide, encourage, expect, fail, happen, help, hope, manage, offer, plan, pleased, prepare, pretend, promise, refuse, seem, tempt, want, wish, would like. For example, his answer appeared to be wrong. Some verbs can be followed by an object plus bare infinitive. For example, you never let me say the answer. The group of verbs are fill, hear, let, make, notice, see, watch. Note that the verbs feel, hear, notice, see, watch can also be followed by the gerund. For example, I heard Anne tell Jill not to do that. It means that I heard the whole speech. I heard all of it. While when we say I heard Anne telling Jill not to do that, means that I heard part of the speech. Some verbs can be followed by the full infinitive or the in form, with little or no change in meaning. The group of verbs begin, can't bear, can't stand, continue, hate, intend, love, prefer, and start. For example, we continued to do experiments in the lab all afternoon. Or we may also use we continued doing experiments in the lab all afternoon. Some verbs can be followed by both the full infinitive and the in form. The choice depends on the meaning. We may say, I remember him reading sonnets to the public, and we may use the full infinitive after the verb remember, and we may say, did you remember to do your homework? So we may use verbs consider, forget, go on, imagine, learn, like, mean, regret, remember, stop, teach, try, either as full infinitives or. So after this group of verbs we may use either full infinitives or gerunds. Now let us read the text and choose the correct answers. A day in the life of a homeschooler. On a farm in West Virginia, Abigail, 13, and her brother Ethan, 15, have just got up. After breakfast, they'll go bird watching. They'll then write down their observations in their journals and spend the rest of the morning. So, in the first one, have a look. Letter A is reading, B on reading, C to read, and D while reading. Study it carefully. So once again, they'll then write down their observations in their journals and spend the rest of the morning. reading the books they've chosen this month. So the correct answer is A. Macbeth, Abigail, and Catch-22, Ethane. After lunch, Abigail is going to work on her painting of Lady Macbeth, and Ethane will carry on. Pay attention to the phrase web and have a look. The second, 4 options: design, to design, designing, the design. After phrasal verb, we should use gerunds. So it is correct to choose option C. We'll carry on designing a new website for their writing club. Abigail and Ethane aren't on holiday. They belong to the steadily growing group of children and teenagers who are being educated at home or homeschooled. Their mother recalls how their family made the decision. Number 3, not sending, or not to send the children to school. So again, the phrase is given to you, make the decision. Here we should use full infinitive in the negative form. So it means their mother recalls how their family made the decision not to send the children to school. After checking out the schools in our area, my husband and I became convinced that if we are capable of, or could, teaching Abby and Ethane better than any of them. So, I'd like to draw your attention to the gerund form, which is used after the gap, teaching Abby and Ethane. So a sort of phrase should be used here in the gap. So the correct answer is, after checking out the schools in our area, my husband and I became convinced that we are capable of teaching Abby and Ethane better than any of them. We believed that with an individual approach, our children would have a chance to excel at their best subjects and receive enough help in their weaker areas. Once we tried, we discovered it was even better than we'd expected. It's thrilling to be able to witness and guide your child's development. Who decides what will a homeschooler study, or a homeschooler will study, or a homeschooler does study, or does a homeschooler study? It is the question to the subject. That's why you should use the direct word order here. The correct answer is B. Who decides what a homeschooler will study? Some families follow the same curriculum as a school would and use the same books. Others choose materials that fit their needs from the wide range provided by homeschooling organizations. Some create their own curriculum. Many homeschooling families join together in homeschool co-ops. They organize some lessons together, especially those which require expensive resources. But most importantly, co-ops give children the chance. So you should find the synonym to the word chance: to socialize and make friends. Of course, it is the word opportunity. Now let's continue with our exam task. Naturally enough, the vast majority of students find it tempting to do the adjective is given to us simple assignments first. The signaling word to you should be the preposition the. So you should transform the adjective and use the superlative form of it. Naturally enough, the vast majority of students find it tempting to do the simplest assignments first. However, those tasks that take more time and effort to accomplish are probably the ones that you learn the most from the exam time. So, please note that adverbial modifier is stated here by the exam time. So it means that you should use future perfect here. Something will be over at a certain point of time in the future. That's why we should put the verb learn into the future perfect, and it will be will have learned. Changing your approach can help you stay interested. If you an assignment similar to one you've done previously, think about it in a different way. So, a teacher gives you an assignment. That's why you should use passive form here. The present passive form. If you are given an assignment similar to one you've done previously, think about it in a different way. If you, the verb write is given to us an essay for a creative writing assignment last year, try a poem this time. The adverbial modifier is last year, so that's why we should use past simple here. If you wrote an essay for a creative writing assignment last year, try a poem this time. You can also reach out to peers who can motivate you by listening and sharing ideas. And the last sentence, give. The pronoun you is given a quick reward when you complete an assignment or task. So it is addressing to yourself. That's why we should use a reflexive pronoun here. Give yourself a quick reward when you complete an assignment or task. Take a walk, get a snack, whatever works for you, then move on to the next project. Let us move on to our home assignment that will actually contain of several tasks. The first two you can see on the slide. First of all, you are to make up sentences in the passive voice, and the second one to write down a letter. You are to complete the sentences using infinitive or the gerunds. Two tasks. And finally, you are to do the sample of the exam grammar task. And please send your homeworks as a Word document via email to your teacher. not later than the 4th of May. Good luck to you and goodbye.